Whether you're going to a graduation, you're holding events at your house, this is the season for all those type of things to take place, and I want to make sure that it's going to be enjoyable for you and your dog so that you can keep a peace of mind and not be all stressed out. Whether you're taking your dog to an event or you're going to have people over, I'm going to run through at least 3 tips that you can implement almost immediately. You don't even have to wait till event happens, but there are a few things you can prepare yourself and your dog and your family to be able to have a successful event at your house or whether it's out and about. Okay. Tip number 1, be prepared. What does that mean? A while back, I was talking about a tired dog is a good dog. The more you can tire out your dog before guests arrive, or even before you take your dog over to someone else's place, the better they will be. I have never heard of, I can't say never, but most of the time, if you tire your dog out enough, they're not even going to care about what's going on. You have to think about yourself. When you're absolutely tired at the end of the day and someone's like, oh, let's go to the event, you're probably going to find a corner and just like sit, right? Opposed to like if you went to an event 8 o'clock in the morning. So you want to tire out your dog and you're probably like, Pam, what does that mean? My dog's never tired. It's going to be different for each dog. So you want to think about what is it that your dog does, play with, or anything that you do with your dog, or whether they play with items or toys and things like that, that's going to tire them out. So for instance, I know I have a French bulldog. It doesn't take much to tire out. I can have her toss a few balls back and forth in the yard and she'll be tired within like 30 minutes. My older dog, it's going to take him a little bit more, put it that way. So I know that I have to start tiring him out at least an hour before anything comes. And one thing I do with him that is effective, if you see my social posts last week about the Parmesan cheese and how that sniffing is very exhausting, I will do the Parmesan cheese spread for him and just let him sniff. He can go on for days and that tires him out. So it's not going to be the same for every dog. You want to think about your dog only and what's going to tire them out. If you do not know at this time, go back to that post on Instagram or TikTok and look at the Parmesan cheese trick, and that definitely will be effective for most dogs. Okay. Tip number 2, be sure you have a place for your dog to decompress. We can't assume that just because our dogs were good with the last few family functions, they're going to be good with this family function. Anytime there's any change in an environment, it changes your dog's behavior. So maybe there's new people coming over to this function, or maybe wherever you're going, there's going to be new people coming. So you always want to pick out a safety zone for your dog. Ideally, that will be another room that you could put them in where they can just lie in the bed and decompress if they're not going to tear up everything. Or if you're not so sure about how your dog's going to be because they may destroy stuff, you want to have a crate where they can go into. If they're not crate trained, because you're like, Pam, they're not crate trained, you can also use like a gated area or just block off access so that they have a place to just decompress, especially if there's going to be kids over, or if you have a dog that's shy or fearful and it's going to be like all this noise and chaos. You definitely want to pinpoint a spot where your dog can decompress, because we can't just assume that they're going to be okay. Even if you think your dog's okay, because just a quick tip, one of the signs that your dog may be stressed is they may just be lying there and you may think they're okay, but in reality, they're just like shut down or frozen. So I always say, even if you think your dog's okay, put them in that side room or behind the gate or the crate and let them relax a little bit, because sometimes when they're so stressed or so shut down, they can't regulate themselves. So always make sure that you have a safe place for them. Tip number 3. Say your dog is fine, they can be part of the party and things like that. You want to make sure that you have something for your dog to do. I always say, visitors coming over to the house, they're like, oh, my dog jumps on the gas. That's a whole nother topic we'll talk about. My dog jumps on the gas, or they're going from person to person to person. And I was like, okay, let's break this down a little bit, right? Imagine if I brought you over to my house for a party and I might just sit there or just, walk around, but you don't have your phone. You can't communicate with anyone because you don't really know the language that's spoken there. And so all you probably would do is you probably would sit there for a little bit, maybe, but after a while, you would try to communicate with people just because it's like you're getting antsy. So I always say, be sure that your dog has something to do. Once again, it doesn't have to tire them out, but it's going to keep them busy. A quick tip: you can use the Parmesan cheese trick inside on a towel, but you can also take some treats or even a kibble, toss it on the floor, let them sniff around and go on a little scavenger hunt. That's going to tire them out, and it's going to keep them away from bothering your company or things like that. I love a good big collagen bone, letting them chew on things like that. On a lighter note, one thing I do like to do, because people love dogs, well, most of them that I know of, especially if you don't want your dog to eat unfamiliar food, it can get tricky, especially around graduation or just any type of event. I usually set up like a little doggy platter in different areas in the house, primarily where people are going to congregate, and you secretly have people help you train and they don't even know. So most people, they may go in and pet the dog, or everyone's going to have a different relationship. People may not know the dog, but you just tell them like, hey, you don't tell them you're trained, like, oh, if you're going to feed the dog, this is his food, just ask him to sit first. That's it. And you'll find that your dog's going to go around to each and every person and start sitting and looking instead of doing what they normally do. But it's just a fun way to get everyone involved in the training, just having their little things around. And also, speaking of events, just make sure safety, right? So many times gates are left open. This is that time of year, either way, lawn service. But if you're having events, parties, people going in and out, make sure the gates are closed. Make sure people are aware. But again, you can't rely on your guests to watch your dog. So ideally, if you have a fenced in backyard, maybe put them back there so they're not gonna dart out the door. I know in my home, I have a little piece of gate at the front door. So either way, whether someone's going in or out, my dog can't dart through the door, and the person can just walk around it, because my Frenchie's not going to knock it over. My other dog isn't either. But safety is definitely going to be key. So you can implement this into your daily routine. Like I said, you don't have to wait till an event happens to make sure you prep, to make sure your dog's going to be on their best behavior, and that you can enjoy these festivities and keep your sanity at the same time. So just to recap, you're going to make sure that you tire your dog out as much as possible, whether that's a walk, run, but you don't want to do it too early. Like, if your party's starting at 5, you don't want to tire them out at 2. Try to make sure it's within the hour of that time. Also, making sure you have something for them to do, because it's not fair, and you don't want me to take your phone away from you. So make sure that your dog has the appropriate toys. Maybe it's a time to buy them a new toy, so they'll be more focused on that. And the third rule, or the third tip, is safety. Safety is always gonna be key, no matter if it's a function or not. So I hope you gather some good insight and tips to make sure that you have the best graduation, events, holidays that's coming up the next few months. And I will see you next week with another great topic. Bye.